Hey everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to
The Drunken Library.
And we're filming a video and Amber's losing her goddamn marbles, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And today we are filming a video about The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin.
Yeah.
And we both read this for our Read Harder challenge, the Book Riot Read Harder challenge. For the book that takes place within 100 miles?
Within 100 miles of your location.
Yeah, because this takes place just like north of Milwaukee or something like that.
It doesn't really specify. It says it's in Wisconsin, and it says it's on Lake Michigan, and
right.
it references Milwaukee.
I think when I looked it up, because I read this in January and Amber just finished it, so I had to remember what was happening. And it said something like just north of Milwaukee, so like
I think it's like a fictional town.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere on Lake Michigan, but Milwaukee's a really big city, so it couldn't pretend to be Milwaukee.
Temporary adjustment.
There we go.
Thing is off center, but we are centered. It's fine. Whatever.
So
Technical difficulties.
Ooh, let's just drink some more. Hey.
Anyway, so it takes place within 100 miles of our location, we think.
Be it Milwaukee or within 100 miles of Wisconsin, because it's in Wisconsin, so it counts.
Yeah, so like, fuck ever.
Yeah.
But this is a children's book, and it's ranked like in the top like 9 or 10 children's books of all time by some people.
Yeah.
It did win the Newbury medal.
It did do that
back in the day. It was
did.
published in like 78 or something like that. So
I remember seeing or hearing that somewhere.
But if you guys are not familiar with this book, because maybe not everybody is, I don't really know. Like, we read this in school when I was in like
fifth grade.
Third grade. Fourth grade was Little House on the Prairie.
I never read Little House on the Prairie. Weird.
But it's a mystery story.
That it is.
And it was made into a movie called Get a Clue at some point.
I knew there was a movie, but I didn't know it had a different name.
It had a different name. And it's about these fucking people.
And this one dude.
Yeah, this one dude, Samuel Westing.
He's like a rich motherfucker.
Right, but he's actually like 4 motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Well, he's like 5 if you include his original name.
Yeah, but we don't talk about his original name.
But it's Wendy Windcloffer, which is funny.
We should talk about his original name. I would have kept that. I've just been like, I'm going into business, and I am going to call this Windclopple Paper Companies. And y'all can eat my dick if you don't like it.
Right? Instead of like Westing. Whatever.
Which, like, yeah, sounds more fucking important or something, but, like, that's only because nobody wanted to go into business with the name Windclopple. If he had done it, he'd have changed history.
He would have, and that's what you get for not leading the way and doing your own thing and being a follower.
And not being true to your identity.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and then you'd have 8,000 identities.
Samuel Westing is fucking 5 guys.
Yeah.
We don't find that out till the end, but
yeah,
he's 5 guys.
Yep.
He is
without the burgers.
Wendy Windclopple. Without the burgers. He should have had burgers.
Or the fries?
Wow. So Wendy Windclopple, Samuel Westing, Sandy Suthers,
I don't remember the other guy's
Julian
name.
Eastman.
Yeah.
And Barney Northrup.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the directions. He was all the directions.
Yep. North, south, east, west. I could honestly, as I was because I haven't read this since 5th grade, and I only had like a vague remembrance of kind of what was going on ish, and so like I knew that he hadn't actually died because he pretends that he's dead and he gets all these people together.
Oh yeah, we probably should explain that part.
Okay, so he pretends that he's dead and he gets all these people together who are his heirs,
and then he gets them to try to solve the mystery of his murder.
Yeah.
Or of his death.
Or his non-natural demise.
Yeah, and I think he just says, like, of his death, and, like, one of you is responsible, but he doesn't really specify that he was murdered or anything.
Right.
And he says whoever solves it wins his whole fortune and becomes, like his successor. $200 million.
Or that.
It says it right on the cover of my book. But they win his whole fortune and they become like his successor and they like inherit his company and shit.
And so, like, he gets all these people together. He rents out, like, this specific apartment building to all the people he's going to have play the Westing game.
Right, and he splits them into pairs.
Mm-hmm. And has them work in weird teams.
Play the game.
And to try to... And they, like, all of them get different clues to try to lead them to the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know what the answer actually is. Most of them think they're trying to figure out the answer is the name of the killer. But then, like, one of the kids is like, oh no, it's like whoever can make the most money in the stock market.
That's just because she really likes playing the stock market.
She really likes playing
It's
the
weird
stock
though,
market.
because she ends up winning the game, but that's not why.
She also has the best name ever. It's Turtle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not her real name, but it's her name.
No, it's not a real name.
But it's a great name.
But yeah, she wants to get money playing the stock market, and then they keep losing.
And then they win a bunch.
Right, it's
like a whole thing.
A whole thing, as the stock market goes.
Right. And
she has a crush on this other dude who's like 15, but then he's kind of a douche.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ends up marrying this other dude who was his partner in the game. But
Yeah.
he's not really a douche.
No. Also, while I'm thinking about it, before I forget, because I am intoxicated, I really appreciated that this had representation for people of color and for disabled people.
It did. It did.
That
Not
was
a lot as far as like sexual orientation stuff goes,
right.
But it did have representation of people of color. There's an Asian couple and their son.
Mm-hmm. There's a Greek couple,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a black woman in it, and then there's a kid in a wheelchair. They don't specify what he's got.
No, but he has some sort of like nerve damage, like brain issue,
Yeah.
and one of the other characters actually helps him like figure out how to manage his condition, and he goes on to live a relatively normal life, though he is always in the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm. But his like speaking, because he had a really bad stutter, and so that improves, and he's able to
like
function a little
communicate
more.
and function more appropriately with people.
And it was just really cool, and especially for being written in '78, like.
And for children.
Yeah. As I was reading it, that's something I noticed, and I was just like, that's so fucking cool.
Well, like the one character, the black woman, she's a judge, so she's like a really well-educated black woman who feels bad because the reason that she's connected, because all of these characters are somehow connected to Samuel Westing.
Right.
That's how they like got involved in the game, why they became his heirs.
Yeah.
Her connection to him is that he paid for her education.
Yeah. Because her parents both worked for him, right? Or was it just her mom? I think it was
I
both.
don't remember. I think it was both.
I think both of her parents worked for him.
But he decided she had potential and he was going to pay for her to go to school. And she always felt like indebted to him somehow, but never felt like she could pay it back. And she felt like weird about it, which is like I think a real thing people struggle with when they have like disadvantages based on like what kind of life they were born into. They feel like if somebody tries to help them who has more privilege, it's like, well, shit, now I owe them something.
Yeah. But then, because all of the heirs, as they're playing the Westing game, they get $10,000 twice per team.
Mm-hmm.
And so she splits it with her partner, even though it ends up being him, kind of.
Right, because her partner is one of Westing's identities.
Right. So she, like, just told her partner, like, oh, you can have my half. So she gives him her half both times, so she gives him $10,000, and that was like the cost of her education. Which, can we talk about the fact that her college education to become a judge was $10,000?
Well, to become a lawyer.
To become a lawyer.
To become a lawyer, because you have to be a lawyer to become a judge.
Right.
But
so,
yes,
but still,
$10,000.
lawyer
That's
education.
like a semester now, maybe.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Inflation is garbage, you guys, and I don't like it. I'm gonna drink some more.
But yeah. It's like all these weird, like as you read it, all these weird interpersonal relationships kind of unfold.
And it's just really cool. It's about people and what motivates people and what people are thinking. And
yeah, it's not necessarily even so much about like the game.
Yeah.
Like it's there. It's like there's a backdrop, but it's not really like a super present like entity in the book. There's like bombs being set off, which turns out to be this crazy chick who's like not actually crazy, but she's just like this perfect golden child, and she's tired of being like objectified.
Yeah. Like she's thought of as the perfect daughter or the perfect woman.
And like she's engaged to this she's engaged to this guy, and she's thought of as like his fiance
instead of as
herself, as Angela.
Yeah.
So she just starts like blowing shit up.
Including one of her own bridal gifts.
Yeah, well, they would never suspect her. She was bombing her own bridal shower.
Yep.
But, man, I should have thought of that. Damn it, Sam. And then there's, like, another person who's, like, stealing things, and they keep thinking that it's, like, one of the kids, but it's not one of the kids.
Yeah.
They thought it was somebody else. They thought it was somebody who it wasn't.
Right.
And it was actually, like, the woman from the Asian couple, because she was trying to
go back to
save up
China.
and go back to China, because she didn't really want to be here, but then she ends up staying.
Yeah.
So, figure that out.
Motivations and stuff.
But, like, there's a lot of weird, like, interpersonal stuff going on, and not as much about the game. The game, like, kind of just comes back into it. Oh, that's pleasant.
It tastes like garlic and donuts and wine.
Interesting combo.
The garlic and the wine,
but not
I was cool
not
with.
the donut.
Not
so
with the
much.
donut, no.
But no, yeah, like the game kind of just comes back into it, like right at the end. It's like you almost, if you're looking at it, you could almost forget that that's what's happening in the book until it like kind of comes back around, and then they're like, "Oh, you didn't solve it. Y'all are fucked." But then
when it's like something everybody's talking about, but it's just kind of like, oh yeah, like I don't know, here's this thing we're all kind of talking about, but the thing is, like, the whole time it doesn't make any sense. Like, unless you're some kind of weird fucking genius puzzle solver shit.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't make any sense until it starts to make sense.
Like, until they bring all of the clues together kind of toward the end, you're like, oh, but like, even though you have all of them,
you're
because
seeing them separately.
See everything, you see it separately, and it doesn't make any sense. And then as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, now I feel dumb, but like, it's not really.
Yeah, it's not a thing that really kind of clicks until the end, and so I don't know. It's interesting.
Pretty cool, and I also really like that the last couple chapters are like an epilogue.
Yeah,
and you see like what happens to all the characters after the game.
Yeah.
And like Turtle wins, she figured out who Sam Westing really was, and that he didn't really die, and like what he meant by solving the mystery of like the end of his life or whatever. She figured it all out. She became a successor. He paid for her education. She went to school. She became like a lawyer or something crazy.
Yep. They hung out once a week, played chess.
And then she started teaching her sister Angela, the one who was blowing shit up. She started teaching her daughter to play chess.
Yeah.
And was teaching her to be like a smart, independent woman, which is something her sister didn't get to do until way later in life, which she eventually does, like after she blows a bunch of shit up.
She like breaks off her engagement and
goes to medical school, becomes a surgeon,
does her own thing.
Then eventually she gets back together with that guy. Yeah,
I forgot. Yeah, even though I just finished it yesterday.
She gets back together with the same guy, but after they've taken some time and been apart and figured out what they really want, and like he can then respect her as like an individual entity because that's what she needed.
Yeah, instead of just his like trophy wife.
Which like I read this as a kid and I like thought she was dumb or like kind of just not an interesting character, but like reading it now as an adult, I'm like, you go, girl.
Yeah. I don't remember any of my opinions of anything as a kid.
I just like really related to Turtle because that was a lot like Turtle. Kicking people, being a jerk. Turtle's kind of a jerk. Like,
yeah, I like her though.
I do too, but she's like kind of a dick.
She's such a great name.
She's like a bratty kid, but it's because she's misunderstood, so like I get it.
Yeah.
And she's an important character to the story, not just because she wins, but because she kind of just like, it wouldn't be right without her there.
Yeah.
Some of the other characters, I'm like, oh, whatever, I can do without this person.
Incidentally, Turtle and Angela's mom is a bitch.
She's fucking awful.
She's the worst.
She's like really awful.
She's stuck up and pretentious, and she's just like, oh yeah, Angela, my golden child. And she's like, oh, Turtle.
She's like, oh, she's marrying a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all she says, like, throughout the whole book. Is like, oh, my daughter's marrying a doctor.
And she's like, and then, like, Turtle will come in the room and she's like, what do you want?
Like, my daughter is so pretty and she's marrying a doctor. And then this other kid is just, like, here.
Right.
But, like, Turtle's super smart. And she's, like, Brilliant. And she actually ends up figuring out that her sister's the one setting off bombs, and she like covers for her and like, takes the blame, even though like it's clearly not her.
Well, and then the mom is like, she tells her husband, she's like, I mean, I've always kind of suspected this, but I think that like Turtle may have been switched at the hospital, and it's like, really?
Like, well, that'd be better for her, honestly, because like her mom's a bitch and her dad's just kind of like useless.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as like that stuff goes, like he's not useless as a human.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a podiatrist though, so like.
And a bookie.
And a bookie, yeah.
He's a jack of all trades, really.
I've always wanted to be able to go to my podiatrist's office and place a few bets on the side.
You know, well, somebody's got to do these things.
Good old Jake Wexler, he's the guy.
He's the one.
No, this book is weird.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
It is enjoyable. And it's like, I remember enjoying it when I was in 5th grade, even though I don't remember most of the details. And then I really enjoyed it as an adult. So, I don't know. I think it's worth reading. I was telling my grandma about it. And I was like, you like mysteries? You should read this. She's like, what's it about? I was like, here, read the back. And she's like, oh yeah, this is right up my alley. And I was like, yeah.
Like, it's good to read as an adult. I definitely recommend to, like, if you have kids.
Read it to them.
Like, read it to them or give it to them to read. Because, like, it's really, really good. And it's, like, it's much more, like, I guess, like, encouraging or, like, I don't know, positive for kids to read than some of the stuff that's out there. Because, like, there's representation.
There's substance.
And, like, the protagonist, like, the person who kind of, like, takes everything away is, like, this young underdog teenage, like, preteen girl.
Yeah.
And, like, the other girl who's her sister, she, like, finds her own way out of just being, like, the pretty face. And, like, it's just a really, really all-around, like, good. There's, like, minorities who, like, the one kid, he wins, like, an all-state track or he, like, gets into the Olympics. He's, like... All of these characters do, like, a lot of really good things and overcome a lot of, like, weird obstacles, and I think it's just a good thing for kids to kind of see.
Yeah. And, it's really neat. Also, they, reference Wisconsin and the Packers and the Brewers and the Bucks and Lake Michigan and Milwaukee. And it's fun.
It does not give you a great flavor of Milwaukee, right?
It doesn't give you a good flavor of Milwaukee, but it mentions Lake Michigan a lot.
Like, it reminds you that it's a place that exists.
Yeah. So. And then it, like, references the sports once.
Sports ball.
Yay. I do like the Packers, though.
I like baseball, but, like, I don't really follow sports ball.
I'll just enjoy watching the games, but only Packer games, because they're cool.
But yeah, no, it's a good one. Also written by a woman in the 70s, so just all around,
it's just
good family fun.
It's good shit.
10 out of 10, do recommend.
Yes.
I think that's probably
it.
Probably about does it.
All
right, have a great day.
Bye.